LSU was in full pads today for the first time and also went for about 2 hours, which is the first time they had done that. So this was easily the most intense practice in terms of physicality as well as in terms of length that LSU has gone through in camp. And I think it all built towards the end, which is what I'm going to talk about most. We saw a lot of individual today, but it all built towards the 11-on-11 that they worked on at the end. It was kind of a scrimmage setting. They did work down in distances, and it was the highlight of the day in terms of the information that we can relay to you. And before I get into play-by-play and before I get into any sort of statistics, I want to just set the tone here. This is the part of camp where I kind of bemoaned LSU from a secondary perspective the last 2 years. And I'm not quite there yet with the offensive line, but I will tell you this. The defensive line is getting the better of them consistently. Consistently. We've talked about Bernard Gooden a lot. He made 2 more tackles for loss today in limited time. I don't even think Bernard Gooden, in the plays that we have seen in 11-on-11, I don't think he's been out there even close to 75 snaps, which is what a real game would be. I've absolutely seen 8 tackles for loss from him. Absolutely. And there were 2 more today. Caden Durham took a handoff, dropped in the backfield. Harlan Berry took a handoff, dropped in the backfield. This is every single day with Bernard Gooden, and I want to give him his flowers. He was billed as a disruptive, quick, up-the-field defensive tackle. He is playing that role to perfection. But at this point, when it happens this consistently, you do have to look at the offensive line and go, hey, somebody block this guy. And they're not. They are not blocking him. And today, they didn't block Jack Pyburn either. Pyburn had a significant tackle for loss on Caden Durham that I think went for a loss of like 4 yards. I mean, Durham took a handoff in the backfield, and Pyburn was there immediately and flattened him. And then earlier in the scrimmage, Pyburn was working off the offensive left side, his defensive right side, and he went up the field on Tyree Adams, hit him with an inside spin move, and actually took Garrett Nussmeier to the ground. Nussmeier was completely fine, popped up immediately, was not in any way negatively affected, but just watching it in real time, I went, oh, because it looked like he kind of rolled up on Nussmeier. That did not happen. Garrett was completely fine and played the rest of practice, but it didn't look awesome just in practice. It was a sack. And this kind of thing continues to happen every single day. And you look at the running plays that LSU ran in these 11-on-11 snaps in the final period of practice, and you see a lot of stopped at the line of scrimmage, 1 yard, TFL, 3 yards, TFL. And that's a concern. I don't know another way to put it. It is a concern at this point. Now, I don't think if you would have told me on August the 5th, they've been in pads for a week, that the defensive line with Jack Pyburn, Gabe Relaford, Patrick Payton, Jamari Butler, with Don McKinley and Ahmad Bro and Jacobian Guillory and Bernard Gooden, that group is going to give a brand new offensive line some issues early in camp. Yeah, that I absolutely would buy that. So I'm not here to panic. I'm not here to absolutely label this offensive line as a bust, to say that LSU's in significant trouble. I'm just here to tell you that this is not like, it's just the defensive line seems to be doing a little bit. No, they're kicking their butt. The defensive line is kicking their butt at this point in camp. Garrett Nussmeier rarely has a lot of time back there, which he did a lot last year in games, and they're not running the ball very well. So it is a concern. It's not something that I'm going to go nuts about on August the 5th. I think LSU's defensive front is good. I just rattled off all those defensive linemen. We know Whit Weeks can play. We know Harold Perkins is healthy. I believe West Weeks is having a nice start to camp. He had a great pass breakup against Trey'Dez Green today. We saw Devon Keys play as a freshman. And now Tylen Singleton is starting to make some plays. He had a sack in the 11-on-11 today. But it was a significant win for the defensive front, no question about it. When I go through the chart, I'll just go through this. I don't want to belabor the point or go too deep into the weeds, but you're listening, you'll catch this pretty quickly. Nussmeier had a tuck in and run on the first snap, would have gotten 2 or 3 yards. Durham ran for 3. Gooden, TFL. Nussmeier, sack. Gooden, TFL. Jordan Gilbert, pass breakup. Jack Pyburn, sack. That's the first team versus the first team. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 snaps, and the defense basically won all of them. That's a big deal. 7 snaps. 7-0. Then you go to the first team getting back out there. Pyburn, 5-yard loss, TFL. Nussmeier forced to check it down to Durham for 1 yard. Then the next 2 plays, the last 2 plays the first team ran, after getting beat 9 plays in a row, Nussmeier hit Parker over the middle for 15, 18 yards for a first down. And then on the next play, which has happened every day in fall camp so far, LSU ran a little counter to Caden Durham on the offensive right side. He broke a tackle from Jordan Gilbert on the second level, 45-yard touchdown. And he's done that every day. And I feel like it was nice to see the offense throw that counter punch finally. And what it tells me, and it reinforces to me, is that this LSU offense is really explosive. And we know this to be true. You watched Caden Durham last year. He ripped off a couple long runs against South Carolina. The first 2 plays of the game against South Alabama, he accounted for 170 yards. He busted a big one against Alabama. Busted a big one against Baylor. He is explosive. And when he gets a crease, which he got on the final running snap, he was gone. One guy to beat, he beat him. And then Nussmeier, when given a little bit of time, was able to hit Kyle Parker. And what you see from Garrett Nussmeier and these wide receivers in 7-on-7 is just pitch and catch. I mean, I told you this the first day when Garrett Nussmeier didn't throw an incompletion. I told you this the second day when he was 8 for his first 8 and then threw 1 incompletion. And every day we watch 7-on-7, which is catered to the offense, obviously, Nussmeier is just dotting it up. It's awesome. And then they get into 11-on-11, and it gets clunky. And that is a reflection of the offensive line getting beat more often than you want. Now, here's the deal. The defensive line, while there is certainly an element of playing together on the defensive line, it's really go beat your man. On the offensive line, there's a lot more cohesion that has to happen. And this is a new group. Braylon Moore is a new center. Weston Davis is a new right tackle. Tyree Adams is a new left tackle. DJ Chester is playing left guard for the first time. And then you go to the right side, and you've got Josh Thompson. You saw Cohen Eccles in there a little bit today with the first team. And so they have work to do from a unity standpoint, from a cohesion standpoint, from a working together standpoint. And that takes some time. Matt will tell you on his show, he has charted the one-on-ones on the offensive defensive lineman while I've watched 7-on-7, so I haven't seen this part. I'm just relying on his reporting and what he says on his show and what we talk about after practice and what goes into the practice reports. In one-on-ones, the offensive linemen are winning. Like when they just play, they go to one-on-one, they're showing good feet, they're showing good hands, they're showing strength. They are doing their job in the one-on-ones. They get into 5-on-5 basically at the box, 5-on-6 at times, and it tilts the way of the defense. And there's encouraging things on the one-on-one perspective. There are encouraging things when you look at the size of LSU's offensive line, when you look at the star ratings in high school in the offensive line. Like there are some things that lend themselves to LSU fielding a really good offensive line. They're not playing very well right now, and I don't think it's too early to say that. Again, being very clear, I'm not suggesting this group can't get any better, that LSU is doomed, that your fears are being realized and they can't block. I'm telling you right now, a week into camp, they're not playing very well. And I'm confident from being at practice, if I went into Brad Davis's office right now where he's probably going through game tape, he would be far more critical of his unit than I'm being right now. Because you can hear him on the practice field just ripping guys. He sees it. He knows they can be better than that. And I think the sense is, and this is me, this is not based in fact. This is me projecting down the line and me hypothesizing based on the things that I see in what I'm watching in camp. I think there is a realization from a lot of people. Myself, I certainly would stand by this. This team is essentially going to go as the offensive line goes. Because if they block, LSU is going to be awesome. If they can't, LSU's not going to be able to move the ball. Because if you can't run the ball and they're pressuring Nussmeier and he can't do the things he needs to do from the pocket, he can't get out of the pocket and hurt you, you're going to be wasting your wide receivers and you're going to be in a world of hurt. Like, it seems oversimplified when I do that, but I'm not sure it is. And right now, it's reasonable to suggest the offensive line is getting whipped more often than it is succeeding. And that's got to change over the next 4 weeks. Still time. There's still a lot of time. They've got to get some things together up front. On the flip side, LSU's front four and front seven looks very, very, very good on defense.
Hey, thanks for watching Hunt on LSU. Before you get out of here, do us a couple of favors. Hit that like button, leave your comments below, and subscribe to the channel for all your Fighting Tiger football talk. See you next time.